The Wriggler head is back. Hello again, I am Blunty, and I don't know about you, but I've needed a fair chunk of extra joy in my life lately. Now we're a month deep into MHwilds release, modders have had some time enough to get to grips with the new game, which means we're starting to see some really fun cosmetic mods, amongst other things. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. 10 delightfully joy-filled mods that don't muck with gameplay, but do increase the amount of times you smile while playing. I mean, I dare you not to at least smirk, if not giggle, while fighting Shu-Uwu. But we'll get to that. First, always a comedy classic, taking something adorable, cute and tiny, and arming it with deadly weapons. So, I give you Dangerous Chicks by placeholder 0646, which arms each and every secret chick in the village with a pair of razor-sharp, flesh-cleaving jewel blades. It doesn't affect their behavior or anything, so your palico can still kick the little buggers over without causing a blood-soaked incident within the village, but still, classic cute versus deadly juxtaposition is, as always, just a little funny. Especially when you forget you have it installed and haven't been to the village in a while, so you turn up and it catches you by surprise every now and again. Next, not going to keep you waiting for that opening tease, Wriggler head replacing Gypsyrus helmet by difficult to pronounce name. You're free to have a go at that one. I'm not even going to venture a guess. But the mod does what it says on the tin. It replaces the Gypsyrus helmet with the fan-favorite Wriggler head instead, originally a special reward for an event quest in MHwilds, which was of course where we first met the Wrigglers as natives of the Coral Highlands, and as such, we're probably not super likely to see them officially in wild, seeing as they're not native to any environment we have seen so far, but who knows what happens in the G-Rank expansion. That's way down the track. But if you missed the Wriggler head now, this mod brings it back for you. Of course, as with all cosmetic mods, it's local only, so no one else can see it when you're playing online, unless they too have the mod installed. But still, it's enough for some extra smiles in my day, and always fun for photo mode at the very least. And of course, just like the original, you can customize the color just like any piece of layered armor. Then of course, no first month of Monster Hunter modding is truly complete without Thomas the Tank Engine. And you've actually got multiple choices here already, including a hammer, which seems fun, but it is hard to resist the comedy value of turning the secret rides into classic blue choo-choo boys. Thanks to Thomas the Tank Engine Secret by Grizzly Adams 77. Now, early in the game, you get the opportunity to customize your own secret, which I suppose makes this mod more difficult to apply to your own customized ride, but it will affect your early game ride, and after that it will affect Alma's, and as you'll catch later in the video, other players when you're in multiplayer hunts, which has, as yet, never failed to be funny to me. While we're here actually, I also want to highlight and show off a very, very useful and technically cosmetic mod if you like, but this one's less about comedy joy and more about functional joy. Photo Mode Plus by CKTT12. If you've ever been annoyed by how the default photo mode never lets you get close to anything without it fading away from the shot, frustrating when you're trying to frame up certain kinds of compositions, this is the solution. It simply removes that fade away effect on characters and such when your virtual lens gets too close. So now you can examine details in the environment and on clothing and characters and monsters and whatnot freely, if you're curious about that sort of stuff, or just get nicely tightly framed portraits of your favorite characters with ease. Next up, a carryover mod from one of my personal favorites from the early days of Monster Hunter Rise modding, and one I featured in a video back in those days as well, as a matter of fact. I Hope You Step on Lego by Kimchi Worm, and it turns your shock traps into golden Lego blocks with remarkable fidelity too, right down to a very crispy logo on the top of each and every stud, as is proper. And it won't ever not be at least a little bit funny to me watching a monster immobilized in convulsing pain after stepping on a Lego block, the most infamous of all household barefoot dangers.
Perfection.
Next up, Handy Lance by placeholder 0646. I'm not a Lance main, but I do intend to give Wilds Lance a thorough go soon, because I was surprised by how much fun it was in the betas, whereas I'd never really liked Lance in any other of the games. But as soon as I saw this mod, I knew I had to install it. It, as you can see, replaces the Hope Lance model with an almost jarringly realistic finger-poking arm for the lance and open-palmed hand for the shield. There are two things you need to know about using this mod. The first one is, it is very difficult to play a weapon you're not that familiar with while you're in fits of giggles. The second thing is, the brain-searing urge to give in to your intrusive thoughts of exclusively focusing your every finger poke on the monster's butthole. It's overwhelming. And that's not just me being weird. Even the official pics in the Mods Nexus page agree with me on that. Try it for yourself and see. It's desperately hard to resist going for the bum poke. While we're on the subject of smile-inducing weapon skin mods, I bring you Diamond Sword GS by Antero 500. It replaces the Buster Sword with a Minecraft Diamond Sword, as you can see there quite clearly. Sure, it's not quite as giggle-inducing as jamming a gigantic finger up the nose of an encroaching monster, but still just a little bit delightful in its own way. And if you are a Minecraft enjoyer, either current or like me, long since fallen away from actually playing it, but with years of pleasant nostalgia for it nonetheless, it's still a pretty joyful mod, I think. But if what you're after is more of those truly distractingly funny mods, may I offer up to you Googly Magala by Ivory Legiacris. Taking the spooky, disease-spreading threat with its infamous lack of visible eyes only adding to its creepiness, and gluing on a pair of comedy googly eyes, and add to that thanks to the extremely mobile nature of Gore in his Wilds fight, where you only get brief glimpses of his face, to me only makes it funnier and funnier when he suddenly spins around on you and you're face to face with the absolute ludicrousness of it all. Comedy is, once again, largely about juxtaposition and subversion, and that's what this does wonderfully. And before we move on to my favourite monster mods so far, and the last one for this video, special shout out to the Saxaboom Hunting Horn. I've already featured this one in a short a couple of weeks back, but in case you missed it, and are a Jack Black fan, it is made out of pure joy. I am a hunting horn enjoyer, but I haven't done much hunting with a hunting horn in the late game of Wilds, but every now and again someone turns up in multiplayer rocking the horn that gets reskinned with this, and it's joyful every single time. Now then, the most challenging mod I have found so far, and if you think this game is too easy so far, try this mod out. Because I find it incredibly difficult to fight Shiwu when I'm blinded by tears of laughter. And I'm not even kidding, I'm not even being hyperbolic here. The first few hunts I had after extorting X-Uwu by, once again, Ivory Legiacris, I was giggling so much I nearly carted several times. I was, at one point, literally blinded by tears of laughter. And all it does is put 3 letters on the front of the cephalopoidal slasher's face, playing a little pun chip on its name. But if you have the very specific kind of internet deep lore burned into your brain, or are OG nerd enough to recall when ASCII-based emoticons was still commonplace and all we had, or indeed, in more modern context, if you have some furry friends, or if you're like me and have all of the above, you might just find this stupid little mod weakeningly hilarious. And look, if you're some kind of new generation internet sprog who finds the word skibbity in close proximity to the word toilet, the absolute height of internet comedy, you might not understand this at all. Go ask your parents, friggin' fetus. But for the rest of us, more mature and sophisticated internet degenerates, this right here is comedy crystallized. This is purified fun. This is weapons-grade joy right here, and I love it. I mean, it's not a cure for the severe depressive episode I've been suffering under for far too many weeks now. It's been extraordinarily miserable and long, but it did make me laugh, and I'll take that where I can get it these days, wouldn't you? Thanks for watching. Hope you found these as fun as I did. I am Lunty. Thank you to the patrons. I'll catch you next time.